Not everybody in Airsoft runs an M4, and it's very common because M4s are the easiest to customize, they're the easiest to maintain, there's parts for them everywhere, and there's just overall a ease of use for the M4 system in Airsoft. But sometimes you want something different. Maybe you're that person that sits in the corner of the party going, this isn't exciting at all. Or maybe you just want some people to check out your gun because it looks cool. Well, in that case, let me introduce the Krytac Vector. This, in real life, is the Krytac Vector. It's a 45 caliber submachine gun. The design behind the Krytac Vector looks crazy because one, it's really cool looking, but two, it actually has some functionality in real life in that the bolt actually goes down into the gun, pushing the front of the gun down as it fires, making the recoil not as bad. And although a lot of you probably already know the name of this gun is actually very popular in the civilian market, but surprisingly not very popular in the real military market. According to the internet, the only use of this actual submachine gun is Thailand and their army and police forces, which is pretty cool. If I saw a cop walking around with a 45 Vector, oh my god, we'd be best friends. I'm going to Thailand, bye everybody. So the people who make the Vector were also going to release a 12 gauge shotgun and a 50 cal heavy machine gun that use the same technology that the Vector uses. And I think in Rainbow Six Siege there's actually a V308, which is a 308 fictional version of the Vector, which is pretty sweet. Now just imagine that, but also in a 50 cal machine gun format. Now, that's gonna be nice. The difference here is in Airsoft, you don't have any difference in calibers. Every single Airsoft gun shoots a 6mm BB, and with that, you're left with the pros and the cons to different Airsoft rifles, mostly going down to their performance in terms of accuracy, rate of fire, and feet per second, as well as their ergonomics and how easy the gun is to use. First off, this gun is a submachine gun, meaning that it's a short-barreled, really lightweight gun. It's meant for those close-quarter engagements or as a secondary to a nice sniper rifle. The pros to having something like a Krytac Vector in Airsoft is that it's a very short barrel and it's a very lightweight system. I mean, we're talking just a few inches past your forward grip between you and what you can get your rifle up to. So you can peek corners, you can peek windows, you can bring it into a vehicle and not have much of an issue. It's a very lightweight and also very compact gun as well. So that means that when you're running through forests, it's not going to be too heavy or too bulky that you're going to get fatigued. And when you aim down sights, it's not like an AK, which has a lot of front heaviness to it. There's no weight past your forward hand's position on the rifle, so you don't really have to lever any of the barrel or gas system weight around. And what's nice about this gun not being a gas blowback gun like most submachine guns or pistols are is that you have that reliability of an AEG, an electric airsoft rifle, like an M4. But you have that M4 reliability and accuracy and, overall precision in shots, but you have that in a much smaller package. The thing is, as a byproduct of this thing going down to a smaller package, you also lose quite a bit of magazine capacity. You go from about 150 in a M4 high cap all the way down to about 95 in a Krytac Vector mid cap. This means that you can't really do much suppressive fire, and you have to stay within small bursts and not use too much ammo, because this gun is going to make you conscious of just how much ammo you're using in Airsoft. I really like the two-shot mechanism on this. Basically, there's a safety selector as well as a fire selector, so you can just switch it to semi-auto or fully, or also a 2-round burst, which is super cool.
Oh!
Careful, they're under the forest, about 50 yards out.
To the left side?
Yep.
Where are you? Okay, got it.
That way.
I'll see if I can peek him. Whoa. A lot of fire from the river. Got it. Oh, I'm shooting so many in the river. Get out of that river. Yeah, they better get out of that river right now.
The main reason I asked the guys over at Evike to send me this gun in particular is I wanted to really check out a submachine gun that also had the reliability of a full-length assault rifle. I wanted something that would work for me as something that would be lightweight, compact, and would work as sort of a stealthy gun as well and have that cool stealthy look to it. The reasoning behind that is that this is my new Night Ops gun. It has a tracer unit hidden inside the suppressor, therefore you get those glow-in-the-dark BBs that fire in the distance, and also I have a IR laser that's attached to the top of the rifle. Put some HPA glow-in-the-dark BBs in there, and you have a gun that shoots red lasers. It's so cool. Like, I just love the tracer effect that these tracer units make at night. It makes the airsoft fights so much cooler whenever you see actual glow-in-the-dark, like, just tracers coming at you. It looks like a scene from Star Wars. It feels like a scene from Star Wars just the same. And if you mix this gun setup with a pair of some night observation devices, it is an absolute destroyer at nighttime. Because with the IR laser, all you really have to do is put it on target and fire. It's not like you have to aim down a sight or raise your gun at all. You can have this gun at your feet and aim with the laser and still be able to fire it accurately. As well as with tracers, you almost have the first BB you fire being a little bit of a tutor to like show you kind of what your next BB is going to do. So if you're firing a short burst of BBs, you can immediately change your trajectory of your rifle to make the BBs land where you want them to go. And that is why I really like this weapon for night ops, and why my entirely new kit is built around this weapon itself, because this gun is really good for using it at night, and I'll tell you why right now. Remember how I said that the barrel is really short? Well, when you're walking around the forests at nighttime, especially forests, I'm not really mentioning urban areas right now, you'll hit a lot of trees that you don't see, and you run into a lot of bushes and branches and sticks and rocks and cliff sides that you cannot see at nighttime. That's why cats have whiskers on the side of their faces, so that if they can't even see where they're walking, they can at least feel the area around their face to make sure that they don't hit anything. Basically, at nighttime, humans don't have whiskers, so we're clumsy, we run into things, we slam our barrel into sides of trees and make lots of noise. And when you're running a long distance, long duration reconnaissance and also like stealthy attack sort of loadout, that doesn't really work. You want a really short gun that doesn't hit too much stuff and that you can very easily take control of in a situation where you feel like you're about to fall or you feel like you're about to hit a tree. You can at least move that gun very quickly out of the way, or even because of its barrel, it sometimes misses things entirely just because of the fact that there is nothing past about 2 inches past your hand. Especially when you have to attach a tracer unit onto the gun. That makes it even longer. You know, that makes it not just a few inches, but that makes it about, I would say, 6 to 8 inches longer than it would be usually. So if you have that on something like my Krytac SPR, man, that's a long gun you have to worry about. At nighttime, even with wearing night vision goggles, your field of view goes from about, I would say, like 200 down to about 40 degrees field of view. You have this tiny little circle of visibility out in front of you. Imagine trying to walk through a thick forest where there's like tons of tree limbs and trees and cedar trees everywhere and bushes that you don't want to hit because you don't want to make any noise. Imagine having a long rifle and not being able to control that whenever it slams into a tree really loud. That's why you want a short weapon for night combat. You additionally want your kit to be very low snag, very low profile, so that you don't really catch anything, you don't snag onto anything. And that's why I don't really have anything on a belt system. I just actually, for this entire clip, I actually am not even wearing a belt because there's no dump pouches, there's no magazine pouches or holsters for a secondary. I want my legs to be as clean as possible so that I'm able to move as silently as possible in any forest. So this gun works perfectly for what I wanted out of a night ops gun. I wanted something to be short but powerful at the same time, and this has, I would say, a very similar amount of performance to my Krytac SPR, which has been with me for like 2 years now. That's the reason I wanted to review this gun in particular, is because Krytac, in my opinion, from what I've seen, is a great company. I think all 4 of my close friends that play Airsoft have Krytacs, and they all love them. I've loved my Krytac SPR for a long time. And now with the Krytac Vector, you have about the same amount of rate of fire that you have out of their M4s, which is always very high. You have the same amount of accuracy out of the hop-up in the barrel system that is always pretty good with Krytacs already, just stock. And you have a decent amount of range. Now, not as much as I would like. I think I'll upgrade the spring in the future, but I do think that this thing has a pretty decent set of tools that you can at least customize to whatever fashion you really want this gun to be. For me personally, it's going to be my night ops, my stealthy, my sneaky beaky gun, and it'll replace my longer M4s or my pistols that I used in earlier videos. That'll be my new night ops gun right there. But I think its main weakness is going to be in the magazine area, just because, again, the mags are smaller than a standard mid-cap, so you're not going to be not really having that big amount of ammo in each magazine, but as well, you have to buy proprietary magazines for this weapon, so it's not like it's not like an M4 and a TAR-21, where you can change out the magazines, and it doesn't matter which gun they're in, they're both going to work. You have to change out the magazines, and you're going to have to change out the pouches you have on whatever system you have, belt, chest rig, or plate carrier. Whatever you have to hold all those magazines, you're going to have to change out as well. So there's a little bit of pre-thought that has to go into buying a gun like this, because know that you aren't just buying the gun, but you're also buying different magazines and different mag pouches that you won't be able to use with your standard M4s or AKs, etc.
I just noticed that Drew is running a Victor with AK mags. My AK's in my car as backup.
Yeah, hold up.
But still, I think in the future, I want to start rating things on like a 0 to 10 scale, and I can give this gun a solid 8 out of 10. I mean, this is a pretty decent gun. I actually want to do that. Like, I've rated a lot of games in the past with like the out of 10 thing, and in the past, I feel like I've also just said like, this gun's good, this gun's good, and this gun's good, but I think that there's a varying level of what's good and what's good, you know what I mean? So I think in the future, we'll start using a 0 out of 10, and this was definitely a strong 8 out of 10. This is a pretty good gun, and it's not perfect, not exactly the best gun you could get, but I think that this gun is definitely one that I'll be using in the future, definitely a strong contender in the SMG field, and definitely something that you guys should try out. This is Drewski, and I'll see you in the next one.
Sorry. Man, zoom cam, why do you not work now? Of all times.
The one good kill, right?
In the arms of the angel, fly away.
Watch out, man. Oh,
His camera fell off right there.
that was me. I purposely threw it over there because I hate it very much.